What's going on? Captain Paul here for the locker. I'm gonna do this in a different format. I'm currently with my New York on with my co-host of my other podcast, talking shit. So I don't have my computer with me. I'll be back home in a bit, and I'll be bringing my desktop with me up to New Hampshire when I go do that on Monday. So I will be bringing you normal videos, but for this video in particular, we're gonna try a little bit of a different format, and let's get right into it. Patrick Kane. Kaner himself is going to be out for 4 to 6 months after a hip resurfacing procedure. Patrick Kane will be shelved for 4 to 6 months after undergoing hip resurfacing procedure, as the ESPN article states. Pat Breeson told reporters that Kane had the surgery Thursday and that the 34-year-old wants to play for a long time. Let me read this article a bit, and I'll go into my thoughts on this. Sorry, my camera's usually over here, so I keep looking to the left. Kane played the final 19 games of an 8-year, $84 million deal with the New York Rangers last season. The Rangers acquired Kane from the Chicago Blackhawks on February 28th. Kane played all 1,161 games in a Blackhawks sweater prior to the trade. Bryson expects Kane to make a full recovery. It was not immediately clear how the surgery impacts Kane's impending free agency, though Bryson had said they would consider options. The prolific winger does not have a contract on July 1st. The priority is that the surgery was successful. Hip resurfacing is an alternative to hip replacement, according to the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons. The femoral head is not removed, but is instead trimmed and capped with a smooth metal covering in hip resurfacing. Kane tallied 12 points for the Rangers and just 57 overall, his lowest output since 2012-2013 season. Kane is a 9-time All-Star and 3-time Stanley Cup winner, all with the Blackhawks, who decided to pick him number 1 overall in the 2007 draft. So where does this really kind of impact Kane? You know, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, he's a 34-year-old getting hip resurfacing surgeries done. So he doesn't have a long shelf life. Now, we have seen players come back from, significant hip problems. Like Brad Marchand came back this past season after having procedure done on both of his hips, and he looked overall pretty decent until the end of the season, where he started to taper off, where I think he didn't get his conditioning in. So can Kane still be an effective player? Absolutely. But looking at it from a team perspective, are you going to be wanting to pay this guy $4 or $5 million to be on shelf for, good part of the season? And if I'm being honest with you, going through a hip labral tear myself, I had the same injury that Marchand had, obviously not in the same shape by any means, the stretch of the imagination. It's a long road back. I'm not an athlete. I can just kind of give you the experience doing anything with the hip. I had my surgery done in March. I am still not clear to jog or ice skate or anything until July. And what my doctor said, and I was funny, same guy who did Marchand actually did my surgery, is that he doesn't even look for athletes to get back into full swing until around the 6-month mark, when they can start training. So really with Kane, he just had the surgery done. He'll probably be able to skate around December. Now, he's a phenomenal athlete, so maybe a little bit earlier, maybe a month earlier. But on the safe side, he probably won't even be back on the ice until January. And what is going to be the financial compensation he is looking for if he wants to play? What I think he should do, in my personal opinion, is sign a 1-year deal, cheap deal with the New York Rangers for maybe $1 million or $2 million. Understand this upcoming season for him, for the most part, is going to be a loss, but have the ability to have a team get it done properly. New York has a lot of great medical connections, and he can get it. Well, I mean, it's already been done, but he can get a lot of the physical therapy he needs on a team's dime. For Kane, he's got to realize this season is not a complete loss, but he's not going to start out day one in training camp, right? So he's got to be realistic with his expectations, and he's got to prove to these NHL teams, yes, I had this hip resurfacing done, I can still be an elite player, because that is going to make some teams literally like, I don't want to get invested into a guy that has known hip issues. He's got to come back and look effective. But I would be interested to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Do you think Patrick Kane should sign a cheap deal? Do you think he should try to maybe get a multi-year contract at a cheaper hit? Or just any overall opinion you have, I'd be interested to hear. I'm Captain Paul, and I will see you in the next one. And again, appreciate you guys checking out this format. I might do this while I'm in New York for a bit just to keep up with the news. Take it easy.